Hi guys, Blake and Jackson here today with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful upper Lake Taneycomo. It is Wednesday the 11th of August and we're gonna do the one cast tonight. So we have boated up here. We are just right below Lookout Island, and Point Royale is over here on our right side on the north bank. Pretty nice now this evening, but it got up to almost 100 degrees today. It was really hot, really windy today. We had the water turned off again from about 8 o'clock last night all the way till, I'm assuming sometime this afternoon. I was off today, so I wasn't at work, so I'm not sure exactly when they turned it on, but it would appear that they're running a little over 3 units and that maybe they are starting to drop it now again. Today I'm going to start off dragging one of the jerk baits we sell up at the shop. This is the 606 model. I actually don't remember what this one's called. It's kind of gold and black with a black outlined scale pattern down the side here. I've got that on about 2.5 foot of a 4-pound leader with a 1/8 ounce bell sinker and a size 12 snap swivel sliding up and down there to a size 12 barrel swivel. Alright Jackson, let's take this wobbly spot locker off. I'm going to let the boat get drifting with the current here. Is there another dog on that boat? Huh? Phil, Marcia, and Greg are all out here. They're actually just right down below me, a couple hundred yards, fishing. Phil said they were dragging scuds and that Marcia caught one on the first cast. Said they were dragging size 12 scuds. So she should have wore the mic today. I haven't been out to drag some jerk baits in a couple weeks, but anytime the water's running a heavy flow like this, it's usually a good bet once that initial moss clears up, and I don't see a whole lot floating in the water right now. And I'm actually going to kind of drag the deeper side tonight, kind of stay closer to the bluff here and just see what happens. I wasn't here earlier today, but I did talk to Jeremy Rasnick for a second, and he said that the last couple mornings, the first hour from 6 to 7, that pink powerworm bite has been on fire. And I didn't get to talk to anybody really today, but I would have to bet with the amount of wind that was on the water today that it might have been a little bit easier fishing, because it was really windy. Really windy. But that does provide a lot of disturbance on the surface and kind of dulls the picture for the fish, and sometimes it makes that bite just a little bit easier. The only report I really know to tell you about is our report from fishing last night. Charlie, Levi, and I all went out night fishing last night. We got started around 9 o'clock maybe when we left the dock. I wouldn't say that the bite was necessarily on fire. But some really quality fish were caught last night. Ooh, there's a fish. If I can keep him on here, that's a fish on the first cast. So Levi caught his personal best brown trout last night. A 29-inch behemoth female brown trout. Caught that on the Plum Stupid Signature Series 762 model. And boy, we probably woke up all of Taneycomo with the hooping and hollering going on. That fish actually came off the hook before I got it in the net, and I managed to scoop him anyway, just now. And for those of you who are avid one cast watchers, you may remember the episode where we went out in the pouring rain and he had a really nice trout on that I knocked off with the net. So I got my chance for redemption last night and netted his personal best brown. And there's a nice pretty stocker rainbow on the first cast. It's been a while since I've done that. I'm going to scoot this boat out just a little bit. I don't want to be quite this far over in the eddy, or in the channel. So that was super exciting. And then the next two fish that were caught after that 29-incher was a 21-inch rainbow. Charlie caught a 21-inch rainbow right behind that, and then a 23.5-inch rainbow right behind his 21-incher. All three fish back to back to back. So really awesome night on the water. It was great to be there for Levi's big brown. A 29-inch fish of any freshwater variety almost is a giant fish. Let's see. I threw my fly rod all night last night. They were using the Signature Series jerkbaits, but I was stripping a black pine squirrel streamer, and I actually did pretty good on numbers last night. I would get into pockets where I'd catch 3 to 5 fish in a row on the streamer, but I did not manage a trophy last night. I believe that Dwayne last night, they were out we kind of met in the middle for 1 hour, and then they got an early start and we got a late start. But I believe that they caught and released a 22-inch male brown. That was absolutely beautiful. So up in the shop we have a giant variety of this 606 model jerkbait, pre-painted, or we have them painted, that Dwayne and I have painted in the Signature Series variety as well. But we have a giant variety of those 606s and the 762s, and I find that a lot of the colors work out here. Whenever I come to do the one cast, I just go up there and grab a few random ones that I haven't tried and I throw them, and usually I can find at least a couple fish in a 20 to 30 minute period on them, so that's a pretty good indicator that they work most of the time when the conditions are right. For me, when the water's running faster, I usually use the 762 or the 606 here. When it's running slower, I tend to go with the smaller models. 762 kind of hits the middle ground, and then we have one that's a 639, and it's a little tiny guy, and it's really good whenever it's even like a half unit running. The whole science behind that just goes back to the slower the flow, usually the smaller the presentation, and the harder the flow, the bigger the presentation. There's been a lot of really quality fish being caught lately and seen during the off water periods of the day, especially in this stretch of the lake here. If you're going to be up here drifting some scuds whenever they're running this 3 and 4 unit flow, it sounds like the size 12 might be the way to go. I talked to Steve Dickey 3 or 4 or 5 days ago, I can't remember now, and that's what they're dragging whenever the water's running that 3 or 4 units, which once again makes sense because higher the flow, bigger the presentation for the most part. I'm going to go ahead and reel this in. It kind of feels like I got some moss on there. Those jerk baits, you can really feel them when they're working properly, and when they're not working properly, you can also really feel it, and it's because I had a ton of moss on there. I find this bait digs a little hard whenever the water's not running fast enough, which it is currently slowing down. So might be soon time to switch to the 762. Yeah, once it's hitting the bottom, it's really dragging and picking up moss immediately, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and switch over excuse me, switch over to a smaller model. That immediately picked up moss. And the smaller model that I have in the boat today is kind of similar coloration here. It is also black on the top with a gold side. This one, however, has a little bit of ghost stripes in the paint. But that is the smaller 762 model, and it is set up the exact same way as in for leader and swivels and everything there. I've got that on the Lilleys landing 6'6" medium light fast action rod. Another thing I always try to keep while I'm drifting is that line going straight out from my rod tip while it's dragging. If it ever drags at too much of an angle, you also increase the chance of it getting hung up, and I think I might have spent too much time letting that one sink there, but I think I got it back. Oh yeah. Alright, let's try that again. You really don't have to give these any slack to let them sink. As the weight sinks, the bill of the bait also swims its way to the bottom. On a day like today, this is just about the best time to be on the water. Hey, I'm doing the one cast. I'll call you back in a second. Oh. It was even, I think it was 95 degrees at 9 a.m. this morning. Hot, hot, hot. I see a 110+1 jerkbait up in a tree up there. Someone was fishing for squirrels about 30 foot off the ground. Thinking there's just a little bit of moss in this channel, so I'm actually going to just scoot a little farther over in the middle. I find that anytime the lake bends and goes towards the bluff, that's where the faster water always goes, and I feel like that's where the moss always pushes to. So if you're ever trying to get away from moss, maybe scoot yourself out away from the channel a little bit. There's a fish. Looks like maybe I just needed to get a little out away from that channel where the moss was heavy. Give that bait a better chance of working. This feels like a little bit better of a fish. I don't want him to jump. He's trying to jump. Anytime you want to try to keep a fish from jumping, you can take your rod tip and bring it all the way down to the water. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes that will prevent that fish from coming up out of the water. And it worked that time. Oh, that might be a good one. He's got some big head shakes here. He's really trying to lose that hook. Where you at, buddy? Oh yeah. Got him. Oh yeah, that's a nicer fish there. Oh, look at the back. Really tall, big fat belly. Beautiful fish. One thing I have noticed about our fish this year, and even last year, but this year especially, even the little guys seem to have a really healthy, pretty tall backs, fat bellies. That is just a really good sign of healthy fish, healthy fishery. I think we'll go right into the narrows today, and then we'll call it a day. Dwayne and Phil and a few other people have been noticing some of these real big rainbows and browns getting out here and chasing some of these smaller fish around the last couple nights. And if they're doing that, then I think that a jerkbait, even just dragging across the bottom, is going to be a pretty good bet. Oh, and I got the bottom that time. I think I may have gotten lucky twice now and got my lure back. That doesn't happen a whole lot, or very often at least. We take the belly hooks off of these jerkbaits when we drag them because it really decreases the probability of getting snagged on the bottom. And usually when the fish hit this, it's always from behind. They usually never get that belly hook anyway. What I will say about this method is if you're wanting to get them in the net, you better be ready, because once you get them up out of the water, whenever they're just hooked with that one back hook, they usually just have it right in the edge of the lip, and it comes out pretty easy. There's another one. Hey, dragging the jerk baits is on a little bit on fire tonight here. That's another nice rainbow. And like I said, all three of these fish I've netted are just, I mean, as soon as I barely get them in the net, or right before I get them in the net, the hook is popping loose. So gotta be quick. There, buddy. Alright, we're almost to the Narrows, so this will probably be my last cast. I would say the one similarity between, I just had another bite right there, between both these baits is they're both a black back with a gold side, so that might be something to look for, or that the fish are looking for right now. If you're going to be dragging anything on the lake, jerkbaits included, and you're not familiar with drifting stuff across the bottom, a good rule is set the hook on anything. Well guys, I don't know when the camera shut off. I have no idea how much we missed. I'm gonna go back and check the camera here in a second. I really hope that I got most of the one cast on there before the camera decided to shut itself off. But we thank you guys for watching today. Like and share us on Facebook, and we'll be out here to do it for you again tomorrow. Thanks guys.